Hello and welcome to Wake and Jake, a special Thanksgiving edition gobble gobble. Welcome to a fun sports weekend and a fun eating holiday where you're supposed to watch sports along with it. We'll cover some Thanksgiving activity, and we'll cover the Sonny Gray trade. Speaking of activity, Sonny Gray traded to the Red Sox, kind of kicks off their offseason plan. And there was a MLB Executives article, kind of some free agency thoughts and concepts. Some of the fun questions that have been lurking, like the Kyle Tucker question, continues to linger. How much and where? The pitchers that we've gone through a couple times now, and just how people feel like that could be sorting out. The Imai question keeps coming louder and louder, and there's a couple funky ones. Which free agent contract is going to raise the most eyebrows? To which of these hitters will return has a little bit of funk to it, which I don't like. That we'll get to in a minute. But first, let's do the Sonny Gray trade. If you don't know, Sonny Gray was traded from St. Louis to your Boston Red Sox, kid. He returns to the AL East. Fun Yankees memories. I don't know. I need to relive that because it was just a weird time. Larry Rothschild was the pitching coach, and it felt like he was one of the last old school guys in the league. And it didn't feel like Sonny Gray was pitching with conviction, which became a popular word in Yankee land around there. Nobody cares because after that, Sonny Gray started pitching like he has his whole career again. Had a few nice years in Cincinnati, a couple really nice years in Minnesota. Cy Young, too.
Yeah.
2023. People forget. And then St. Louis the past 2 years, where he went to St. Louis to sign with a winner. Also, pretty nice contract for Sonny that just got better. That the final terms of this trade are Sonny Gray and $20 million go to the Boston Red Sox. The Cardinals get Dick Fitz, Richard Fitz, right-handed pitcher, and left-handed pitching prospect Brandon Clark, their number 5 prospect in the org. I guess we could check those off quick. I don't know. Dick Fitz made the show. Let's see. I think he's going to compete for a rotation spot. That Cardinals rotation, not to get too ahead of myself with St. Louis's projections next year, might be the year before the year in St. Louis. Hey, maybe they catch the magic of baseball. The other guy, Clark, he's a lefty that can throw 100, so that'll do. I do think one of the interesting things, I want to bring this up, Carabas, Jared, was on Talking Baseball today to talk about the trade a little bit. It is kind of funny, I guess. Chaim Bloom used to run the Red Sox. Now runs the Cardinals. I guess they said, obviously not you can't pick whoever you want because, okay, give me Roman Anthony. But, apparently sometimes when trades get made, they basically say, hey, you can take from prospect 5 down and from prospect 10 down or something like that. And it's funny, these were 2 guys that Chaim didn't draft or bring into the – yeah. So I don't know. That's just some fun housekeeping for you at home. I think Fitz came in like right after Chaim, and then Clark was a recent draft pick.
Well, Fitz was part of the Verdugo package that was
right.
post-time.
So I think that happened 2 or 3 months after.
I think a year maybe.
Yeah. So yeah, that's just interesting baseball housekeeping. You'd like to think that he would go back and plunder some of the guys that he brought in, but apparently he liked these guys more. So that is what it is. Most importantly for us, Sonny Gray is a Boston Red Sox. And the contract stuff is really fun. Some of you don't care about this, but Sonny Gray's contract was changed to guarantee him $41 million this year.
Backloaded.
How do you like that? $41 million. It gets better for young Sonny Gray, who's not as young anymore. So they have a $30 million mutual option for the next season, the 2027 season. a reminder, there hasn't been a mutual option picked up by both sides. I think it's 2013 Aramis Ramirez.
If that one happened, I think that might be the only one that's ever been picked up.
Right. Mutual options, it just doesn't, for both sides to make sense of it, it really doesn't happen. So there's a $10 million buyout on that. So Sonny Gray, who will pitch 1 year for the Boston Red Sox, will collect $51 million. What happened to the sport I loved? Guys used to play for fun. Anyways, that's part of the reason the Red Sox are getting $20 million in cash, and that helps it look better in the book. So $21 million of Gray's $41 million will count against the Red Sox luxury total for this season, which basically the consensus of what I assumed would be the thought in Red Sox land and the future of this trade is, like all these early offseason moves, where does this Sonny Gray move land in the Red Sox pitching staff of this season? Because if Sonny Gray comes in as the third starter next year, I think if you're a Boston fan, you should really like that. He has made 24 starts in each full regular season since 2019. So he takes the pill every year. He's never had the knockout injury. He strikes guys out still if you're a FIP person, fielding independent pitching. His FIP numbers are still really good. I would be interested to hear from Cardinals fan how the Sonny Gray experience feels, because some of the stats I'm seeing back it up that like he is one of the bigger ahead in the count, behind in the count pitchers, which sure, every pitcher's stats go with that. But Sonny especially, and he's got some bad third time through numbers. The slider is electric, 56% of the time with 2 strikes since 2024. That's the highest amongst qualified starting pitchers. And opponents hitting 148 against Sonny Gray sliders since 2024, the best in MLB amongst starting pitchers with 130-plus innings pitched. So the slider's there. He doesn't blow you away with the velo. But, yeah, he also allowed an OPS of 1.283 when behind in the count this season. That was the highest amongst qualified pitchers. So when we got to watch him as a Yankee, it felt like there was a lot of nibbling, which, yeah, there was just some weird times when it's like it almost felt like Sonny Gray was putting the game in the ump's hands instead of his hands. Like if the ump had a nice zone for Sonny Gray that day, it was kind of like, whoa, like lock in. You might see 8 shutout here pretty quickly. And then there was other days where it's like, hey, Sonny, you got to get ahead here, man, because if you don't, you're going to get clobbered. Cardinals fans, let me know. But most importantly, they're getting a workhorse. And, yeah, he had the highest strikeout to walk ratio in the NL last year. So it's not like he's losing guys. He's just he's competing in the zone if he's down in the count. And unfortunately, some of those numbers didn't look great. But you're getting a horse that I think has high-end potential. Like I said, Cy Young 2 in 2023. He had a 2.79 ERA in 32 starts. The ERA has gone up the past 2 years. But again, the FIP is in a really respectable place. Striking people out and not walking people in Fenway, that is a necessity. And, yeah, I wonder if there's any of those stats that the Red Sox feel they can tap into to change Sonny Gray's overall numbers. I think, when it's all said and done, $21 million to the Red Sox AAV to bring in a 3-starter, that can be considered a pretty good price tag. The question is, are they going to be in on a 2? Are they going to be in on a Freddie Peralta trade? Are they going to be in on Imai? Will they be in on Framber? Any of the other big free agents available? Because I think a lot of the talk in Red Sox land, and I am stealing this from Jared, was they wanted to bring in a true number 2 to pair with Crochet. They brought in Crochet last season. I don't think where Sonny Gray is at this point in his career, you can say he's a sure number 2. I think he could give you a number 2 season. Poopy. That's not. That's just immature humor. That's nothing. Baby James is here, so maybe he inspired that joke. think he called me a poopy face at one point.
I'm really sorry, guys.
I want to leave that behind, but it just came out. For the Red Sox and especially their pitching staff, will there be another rotation move? Because if it's Crochet, insert piece here, Gray, Bayo, and however they'd like to finish out their rotation, like Cutter Crawford is coming off injury. Patrick Sandoval coming off injury for the Boston Red Sox next year. That I think they'll need another body for that rotation. It just depends. Is that going to be their 2? Is that going to be their 4? Or who is going to be that person to slot in? While they also have a lot of ability to make other moves, man. We've been talking about the Red Sox outfield trade for a while. Duran, I believe he's in the last year of his deal. Wilyer Abreu, if you're looking for years and numbers there, like he's kind of just only balled out. That they have a real opportunity if they want to cash in one of those guys for another pitcher or just play the free agency game, that we could walk away saying that Boston is another winner of the offseason, along with Roman Anthony going to be up and ready to play. Will any of their other young guys take the jump? The Boston hype train is going to be back. It was interesting talking to Jared because I was like, what's the Bregman deal? And he's like, it kind of has to happen. Like the juju around that team and what he meant leadership-wise and baseball performance-wise, they made that all sound very real. Like with any team, you can start covering things up. If they ended up winning the Pete Alonso sweepstakes and they lost out on Bregman, well, okay. Like we'll figure it out from here. But yeah, the Red Sox are still expecting 2 more significant moves, and if they do that, whether that is Bregman, whether that is a pitcher, whether that is Alonso, Schwarber, they want to be in on, we're going to be looking at the Red Sox roster like we did at the start of last year, except a little more impressively, and that's including Story's bounce-back season, who Roman Anthony's supposed to be, I think better depth in the pitching staff. And we had the Red Sox bullpen every year was kind of like and Aroldis Chapman turning back into the best closer in baseball. Significant.
That raises the floor.
Garrett Whitlock committed to Team USA, so let's go, Garrett. It'll be, how about this? It'll be a move that gets forgotten by the time we get to January, February, and then we start really locking in again, and we're like, oh, yeah, the Sonny Gray trade. That happened pretty early.
That was one of the very first things that happened.
He's in Boston now.
First 2 pitcher moves, Gray Sun and Gray, Sonny.
What do the numbers mean, Mason? Let's see where the Red Sox and everyone else go shopping. Maybe it's at Shopify. Maybe that's where you go to start growing your small business. We can speak from experience here at John Boy Media because that's what we did. Shout out to my bakers here. We love you. We have relaunched our merch store on Shopify with our new Slashline site, and it was a dream. We brought the ideas. Shopify brought the execution. As you're shopping our new launch, check out what Shopify can do for you. Life is really a home run when you have Shopify on your side. And their sidekick, their magic, their AI tools, they're a game changer. Revolutionizing the way you manage your business. It gives you the info you need to get better. If you want to be like us, start building your brand from the ground up, it's time to go over to Shopify. Start your trial today. Click the link in the description. Sign up for your $1 per month trial at shopify.com/bakers. If you're ready to leave the amateurs and head over to the big leagues, go check out Shopify. Shopify. That's the old Shopify song.
Right.
Number 2 poop joke. That felt bad. Before the holidays. Nobody needs that. Baby James did. He called me a term I don't want to repeat. So, I guess that was just in my head.
Too real.
Speaking of, the MLB 2025-26 offseason survey, execs predict free agency. Jesse Rogers article if you want to read along. And again, I think he was on our friend chart this year, and we're running out of time.
Yeah, him, Schoenfield.
Do we have to get slutty at winter meetings?
We should seek them out.
Jesse Rogers, nice to meet you. Okay. We'll see. Go click at ESPN. Go click around his article. He asked 16 execs, which I will say, and I think we did this previously. What does that necessarily mean, right?
Yeah.
Who is an MLB exec?
I got a drink a few weeks ago with a guy unintentionally. We were just both at the bar. But he works in the Mets front office.
Right.
And I think he would have counted for this.
So, again, we're not throwing shots fired at J-Raj here. But because I do think he has some good connections within the game. But, yeah, it's basically see where these 16 votes land, and I think we spin topics off of there because some of these responses have me spinning just a little bit. So, with that, it starts off with the Kyle Tucker game, which I keep trying to play with people, and nobody's given me an answer that makes me like, yes. That again, I've said this a few times now, but Toronto is the first thing that changed my mind. Whether it's Bichette Insurance or just adding to Bichette, like, okay, Toronto, you did it this year. You went to the World Series. You can have the highest bid for Kyle Tucker. I mean, Vladdy, Bichette, Tucker, like if you lock up that core coming off the World Series, that feels badass. They can find the outfield spot. Like it all kind of scratches. George Springer last year of his deal, I believe that, you start, if you need to shuffle money one way or the other.
The only guy like locked in beyond like 3 years is really Vladdy. I'm sure one of them is 4 years, but.
And that's where, like,
they have the long-term spend available.
I guess for me, the only thing where my BS meter is fully up, that's a little dramatic. If they sign Vladdy and Kyle Tucker, we could be talking about $800 million committed? 900? If we're talking Vladdy, Bo, and Tucker, we're talking $1 billion committed by the Toronto Blue Jays in the past 7 months.
3 guys.
So that is where I'm not bought in. I'll say this: if I got to place a bet at the DraftKings Sportsbook, the Blue Jays signed Tucker or Bichette, I think I would take that bet. That feels like a good one. Like I think
either Tucker or Bichette.
They offer those sometimes. I don't know about free agency. But
either player to hit a home run, I know, is always there.
Kyle Tucker to get $400 million, a game we've played on this very program. I think I ended up taking the under on his projection. I think they had him around 420-ish, and I think I went slightly under. Well, the survey came back yes, 6 votes, no, 10 votes. So the popular vote was he will not get to 400. Rare. Sad. This is where things get a little interesting. And again, I don't want to question these executives because who the F am I? Could someone send me a poll and say they pulled MLB experts? I have an argument for that, right?
I could call you that.
Cover the game
easily.
2 of the top baseball pods? Yeah. The number 1 winner was the New York Yankees, which, okay, let's go back to the conversation we just had. That's a team I feel very close to, as does BBD, as does the Derek Jeter hype poster behind me. That I don't know, man. I went, because I did the Kyle Tucker spin cycle of, okay, Cody Bellinger was on the Yankees this year. He had a very nice year. He is a free agent. The Yankees need help in center field. The Yankees need help. I'll start there. when you start zooming in on positions, center field, they needed, but Trent Grisham just resigned.
In theory, that the conversation I was interested in discussing with you was like, they needed center field. They have checked the box. Like, should we be talking about that, bringing them into the Tucker dance a little more?
So my original thing with Kyle Tucker versus Bellinger, which we're probably going to do a full Talking Yanks episode about, was I was Kyle Tucker because, for the Yankees, it comes down to money per season, the AAV. And if Cody Bellinger is going to land at 27 and Kyle Tucker is going to land at 37, I originally leaned Kyle Tucker. Because I do think the upside he has compared to Cody Bellinger is just a little different. And I think Cody Bellinger is a very good ball player. Like, when we talk about the progressing of teams, like if I'm trying to think of the Yankees going to the World Series next year, when I originally got into the offseason, I was like, how am I going to change my Yankees? Cody Bellinger feels like the guy that goes from hitting third to hitting fifth. And again, that's not supposed to be shots fired because the guy I saw before Cody Bellinger was Juan Soto in the middle of the Yankees lineup. The guy I'm talking about right now is Kyle Tucker, who I guess people may be surprised by that when you're talking about the offensive profile. They're both lefties that hit lefties. Kyle Tucker did fade off after he got an injury this year. And I think you just need to look at Kyle Tucker's stats from the most recent seasons where he's had an 892 OPS over the last 3 years. And his 2024 in Houston, he was going nuts. It's half a season, but he had a 993 OPS in 78 games. And that's a rare area that not a lot of players can do for half a season. With all due respect to Belly, who I think is an amazing ball player. Like, the defense is special. I love his two-strike approach. I love the way he runs. Like, he's a very good ball player. I don't think Cody has a 1 OPS in him for half a season of baseball. And that's not shots fired at Cody Bellinger because I think there's only a handful of guys that can do that. And then Kyle Tucker was on pace doing similar to that again this year. He got hurt. The numbers fell off. He tried to come back. A 150 OPS plus the past 3 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
3 seasons. And again, it feels like there's a little bit more of a hitting light bulb that came on. His walk to strikeout ratio is basically even the past 3 years. He steals bases. Cody Bellinger offers more versatility. If you didn't know about the shoulder injury years, you'd still think it's going to age pretty well just with your ability to, whatever Yankee offseason comes up the next 5 years, you're like, okay, this year we're going to move Cody to left. This year Cody's going to play center. Oh, we actually need a first baseman, Cody. You go be fantastic over there. So with Cody, there's less big money risk, or the years and money per year. So both ends with more versatility, with having done it as a Yankee, which I'll raise my Yankee BS meter slightly, but we just talked about Sonny Gray. Ask Yankee fans about that. Where Kyle Tucker, I'll throw this out there because it's the top thing on Jimmy's mind. Like, can he play left field? Judge is in right. And we do have a bad taste in our mouth because everyone since Brett Gardner has not been able to play left field well except Cody Bellinger. So, again, that's another question mark that would be checked off. I personally think Kyle Tucker could play left field. But I don't know. If I had to get receipts on myself, I thought Gallo could play left, and he really struggled. It was a significant difference between him and right and a little center where he looked a little more comfortable. And this goes back to an argument that I do make that outfield positions do matter. I just like to think someone that can play defense at Kyle Tucker's ilk in a corner can already do that. But I think I said the same about Gallo, so I do need to call myself out on that.
Yeah, and we'll dive into Tucker probably on one of the Talking Yanks episodes, which goes to 2 times a week next week.
Hello.
I would certainly for the next 2 years, if they were to sign him, he would go to left field while they still have Judge and Stanton, and then after 2 years, you can do whatever you want.
Right.
It doesn't have to be forever. And I would guess he'd be okay. He's been so good in the corners, but like you said, so is Gallo. So you just don't.
You don't.
It's been a really weird thing.
You don't fully know. It's unfortunately been an odd thing. It's a very big left field.
But boy, does he hit enough that I think we'd be okay.
I think we'd like it. And I guess, and people do this in any line of business. Like I even go back to my electrical supply and distribution days. You reference stuff that you've done that's worked. Again, that's very obvious on the surface level, but it's just how it works. That, if you've ever been on a bad business call and it's like, oh, we got 6 people on here. Oh, and we're thinking about doing this, this, and this. Mike from Des Moines jumps in and he's like, well, actually, we did this. We did something like that 3 months ago, and we thought that was going to work, and it turned out this worked. Oh. For me, my New York Yankees, which I have seen go to 1 World Series since 2009. The year they went, they had one of the best 1-2 punches I've ever seen in Soto and Judge. Kyle Tucker gives you that chance for that 1-2 punch. It's kind of set it and forget it. He's good versus lefties and righties. He doesn't have the strikeout thing. Judge is going to get on base at an ungodly rate that you're putting the bat in Kyle Tucker's hands, who he has a higher offensive upside potential that could take the Yankees to another level. I then completely talked myself out of it because I didn't think Trent Grisham was going to take the qualifying offer, or at least I wanted to think that. No offense.
With Trent Grisham not taking, if he had not taken it, the Yankees currently have 0 center fielders that they believe in.
Right.
So he was kind of out.
It's turned into a lot of Yanks, but they ended up on top of the survey here. Number 2 was the Dodgers. Number 3 was the Blue Jays. They were the only teams to get more than 1 vote. So, it's kind of funny. Normally in Yankee land, if there is a top free agent that people think they're going to get, that is like as loud as it gets. This hasn't been loud at all.
No, there's a lot of fans on Twitter asking, but there haven't been a lot of rumors in general yet. Maybe in the next week that changes, but
I will say
it hasn't been a very loud situation.
And again, a lot of the commentary in here is everyone thinks it's going to be close to $400 million, which again, that is a ton of money, even if it were to be just short. There is one comment in here that turned my head a little bit. And hey, Dodgers, they have room in the outfield, and their hitters are starting to age a little bit. And more so, there's no room in the rotation, which if Imai signs there, very frustrating. But I said the same thing about Roki Sasaki. So, and that one was like free. That's the one that stung there. He turned into their closer.
Yeah.
Another reminder, if you're looking for a fire song to listen to, Bailalo Rocky, spelled Rocky. It's his entrance song.
It's good.
Electric.
Good listen.
I still have more Kyle Tucker before I get to the rest of the survey, and it's brought to you by Arena Club. It's Arena Club, and I probably need to stop saying the club part, but it makes me laugh. Arena Club. If you're ready to level up your collection or get started trading cards, Arena Club's original slab packs bring the thrill of ripping packs combined with the power to buy, sell, trade all in one place. Arena Club makes it easy to choose grails, flip slabs, keep your collection growing with the cards you love. With slab packs, you can rip a wide range of packs starting at $25 and up. Every pack has grails that are at least 20x the price of the pack. Once you open your pack, you get the excitement of seeing what you pulled instantly. Each slab is added to your showroom immediately and available for listing in auction, trading, or simply showcasing. Every slab pack, Arena Club will make you an instant offer for your card based on the market value. That's right. No guessing, no wait, an instant offer Estimated fair market value, accepted on the spot, simple, fast, and risk-free. Right now, you get 20% off your first slab pack or card purchase by going to arenaclub.com/wakeandjake. Use code wakeandjake. Thank you, Arena Club. Okay, didn't think I was going to get as caught up on King Tuck today. I did think this part is interesting, but I also don't think this brings the Yankees more into play. That they were saying, could Kyle Tucker be a Bregman-type opt-out guy? Like, if he doesn't get the deal he's looking for, what kind of opt-outs could he look into? Or even, could he get the contract he's kind of looking for but still want that opt-out? Look what we've seen in some recent years as the price continues to go up. Kyle Tucker, who still has age on his side, he's 28, turns 29 in January. But if Kyle Tucker were to add a opt-out in his second or third year, and he was able to hit free agency again at 32, Kyle Tucker could still do pretty damn well in free agency. I mean, Alex Bregman is 32. Let's double check. Hold.
Will be.
Alex Bregman will be turning 32 March 3rd. So, yeah.
Age 32 season coming up.
So, if you play your cards right with the opt-out, you can have the contract you want. Honestly, teams, I don't think are that afraid of opt-outs because that just means a chunk of money came off the books. Sure, I bet there's examples that I could look up that don't do that. But think about the Rafael Devers trade. Like, just the fact that future money was coming off the books, that allowed that front office to think differently. Again, how their fan base reacts to their upcoming offseason will be dictated a lot by that. I guess I didn't let it get in my head that Kyle Tucker could get creative with his contract. But think about everything we've talked about. The landing destinations don't make perfect sense. Whether it's Yankees, Dodgers, or Toronto, I can find flaws in that between Dodgers stop getting every player. Yankees, I don't know if they have the budget because they have a lot of other ways they need to tweak this team. I guess Mets I should have mentioned earlier.
Should be in the club.
But, they also need to get Alonso or something else done. Toronto, if Bichette happens, again, we're talking about $800 million, $700 million for two players. So, it's just not super clear that sometimes when that happens, creativity can kick in. But also usually with the top free agent, you don't need that. So I think it's going to sort out. I don't know where the number lands. It's funny that Yankee fans aren't more all in on this. But it's because that team also needs a lot of shuffling around to do. The Dodgers don't need a lot of shuffling around to do, and the Blue Jays are figuring out their next step. Detroit, Philly, and the Orioles each got a vote. Why not?
Teams that should have a big contract they're ready to go do.
Phillies could be in play. They've been
it feels like they've
been
been
a little bit.
Every time the Phillies come up, they're like, yeah, they want Schwarber back, and then if he goes elsewhere, they could do anything.
Okay.
And that makes sense, but does that mean we need a Schwarber answer first?
Right.
Kyle Tucker should want the Phillies in the dance or to know.
I think he does get there on a longer deal with lower AAV with opt-outs, an executive said. Thank you, that executive. Where will the top 3 free agent starters with MLB experience sign? Okay, I'll try to not get too lost in this one, although I think you people kind of like that because you're subscribing to the channel. You like it. We thank you. Hopefully some breaking news coming soon. That could be fun. With MLB experience, that means Framber Valdez. Another great season, but intentionally crossed up his catcher. Dylan Cease, not coming off a great season, but has all the arm talent and metrics that teams will believe in. Ranger Suarez, Dogue. A little bit of a funky injury history. Playoff numbers and regular season numbers that are very strong. That the teams in the mix here are all jumbled up. I think the only 2 votes, or how about this? 16 guys were pulled for these 3 players. Framber got 5 Blue Jay votes, 4 Mets votes, 4 Orioles votes. So that, I guess that's that. I'm intrigued by that. Dylan Cease got Mets, Blue Jays, or Mets with 6, Blue Jays are at 3. So again, things start to get a little tighter. Ranger Suarez with 4-4-3 for Red Sox, Phillies, Blue Jays. So we see the Blue Jays mentioned all 3 times, which, okay.
Mentioned by multiple guys.
Think about everything we just talked about, though. Bichette, all of us are penciling him back into Toronto. If Kyle Tucker's their audible, you're talking $800 million for 2 players. And everyone thinks they're going to get a pitcher.
Pitcher that could be sniffing 200, let's say.
So again, Kyle Tucker, just put that in the still could be weird bucket. I like Framber for the Blue Jays. I think that's fun. Excuse me.
Wow.
Wow. Dylan Cease with the Mets. That's a little bit of a head turn. Although it just feels like they've had other safer options that they could invest large amounts of money in. But at the same time, Dylan Cease has the arm talent that maybe they think they could tap into that, get a little more out of him, that they could actually, Dylan Cease could be a value ace of sorts for them. And then Ranger, after all of this, is kind of split in different directions with the Red Sox, Phillies, and Blue Jays. It's tough because if one of those teams, if the Mets and Blue Jays that are the top 2 teams for Framber and Dillon, one of them picks their direction, that's going to dictate the other direction. The Blue Jays are going to get someone, which makes me, again, question the Kyle Tucker thing. They need another starting pitcher. The Blue Jays rotation right now, click over there, I think it's Gossman, Yesavage, Barrios, Bieber, and Lauer. So respect to Lauer, who, by the way, talk about performance that's going to get overlooked for a long time. He balled out in the World Series.
He had a good run.
You want Lauer and Yariel, who's still on that team, to come in probably stretched out in spring training, but you want another starting pitcher in there. I think they're in on Imai, who we'll get to in a second. But yeah, one of these guys is probably going to Toronto. One of these guys should probably be going to the Mets. In the Mets, you probably want it to be a guy that's got a pretty clean injury history after how the year ended last year, which that would be Framber and Dillon. Okay, so maybe the safest thought exercise we can get from this part is that Framber and Dylan Cease, Mets and Blue Jays. I don't know which order. I don't know what. And obviously another team could come into play because Tatsuya Imai is the next topic on this one. Who's going to sign him? Giants, Yankees, Dodgers, Cubs, Blue Jays, Padres. The last 2 were 1 vote each. Giants make the most sense to me. I think people might have saw the light bulb come on this program. They can get a Japanese star on their team instead of their rivals' team. They're kind of looking for another 1-2 punch with Logan Webb. The other West Coast teams are kind of full. We've done Seattle's pitching staff, loaded. The Padres, do they have money? I don't know. Dodgers have 2 pitching staffs. That's where I was wondering, is an Arizona going to peak up or something like that? The Giants make the most sense. They have the budget. They want to go now. That Imai, I think, is the favorite there. They have the Yankees with the second most votes, tied with the Dodgers, which at that point were just doing their big teams. Imai and Kyle Tucker are both throwing me off. It should be more clear, and it's not.
I feel like they're kind of throwing us off in opposite ways. Like, in my sort of every team is a little bit in, it seems like. Like, the Cubs, who seem terrified of spending money, keep saying they're going to be involved. Mets are going to be involved. Red Sox are going to be involved. They have, kind of everybody in on him, and every fan base feels like they keep saying, I don't think we're in on Tucker.
And people are wondering, should the Imai noise be louder? Like, he might get 200 mil.
He has a pretty high floor based on every article I've read about the scouting. We did a whole Talking Knicks episode. I read a lot of articles.
Yeah, sorry. I thought that section would be a little more helpful. I don't know. There's 4 big boy starting pitchers: Blue Jays, Mets, Giants. Who else gets involved? Is it the Cubs? How'd the Orioles get 4 votes for Framber? They got to show me something. Phillies, are they just going to let Suarez go and not get anyone? So there's enough big teams there. I also think Atlanta keeps getting 1 or 2 votes in a lot of these. I think Atlanta has to do something this offseason.
They have something in them.
You can't just say injuries. I don't know. Okay, this one I teased as interested me for multiple reasons. Which of these hitters, Schwarber, Bregman, Bellinger, Alonso, will return to their original team? Of the 16 votes, although I may be missing one. Is my math wrong on this? Schwarber 7, Alonso 4, Bregman 4. So, yeah, we're missing a vote there. I'm a numbers guy.
Someone abstained.
And this is what Jesse Rogers notes. Not a single person gave Belly back to the Yanks, which has been a very popular Yankees topic.
And it's been like kind of every time we read something about Belly, it's been like, yeah, and the Yankees want him back, or they're still the heavy favorites to keep him or whatever. So
yeah.
Is that insight? Is that everybody wanting a kind of creative answer?
I guess no. For me, it's interesting as you view these 4, the Bregman story, like how connected he's been to Boston, all that BS. He's player, coach, leader, texting guys late night, third base there, blah, blah, blah. The whole deal with Bregman, that I think that would beat Belly's story. Pete Alonso, richest owner in sports. The other first basemen aren't really there. The Mets career home run leader. The guy is Mets in the best way possible. Like, kind of a little bit of a weirdo, hardo, but awesome competitor. Like, I could watch Pete Alonso run the bases all day. That makes sense. Schwarbs. I guess this one for me is nothing against Philly and Schwarber because, my God, they seem like a perfect match. I just think there's going to be a lot of Schwarber interest that I wonder if Philly were to hit a tipping point. That, whoa, we're going to pay what for Schwarbs when we could go for Kyle Tucker or do another move outside of that. So nothing about their relationship, but Schwarber ends up winning this with 7 votes. And again, that would be the least surprising team. I just said it wouldn't be the least surprising thing. I'm saying when that tweet came out, if the passing tweet comes out and it's Schwarber back to Philly, there's zero shock. There's zero shock. If he signs with another team, be like, wow, damn, they went out and got Kyle Schwarber. I guess this was just we get very caught up in Yankee land, as you heard us starting to wander early on this episode. To see no votes for Cody Bellinger returning and Kyle Tucker with the most Yankees options, for me, that was a little look in the mirror.
The combo.
Everyone else thinks we're going Tucker. I started my offseason thinking that way, and now I don't think that way. Here's a fun category. Which free agent contract is going to raise the most eyebrows? Nobody got more than 2 votes, so I just think the names are fun here. Edwin Diaz, Bo Bichette, Schwarber, Real Muto, Zach Littell, Lucas Giolito, and Munetaka Murakami. Excuse me. Let me reverse engineer this. Murakami, is he going to sneak up towards 200, 150? Nobody really knows where that's going to land. But to be his age, have his kind of power, you'd like to think someone's going to roll it out for him. And where the hell is that going to be? Because, again, the West Coast teams don't have a ton of Murakami room.
The one I saw that was interesting that would be jammed for this year, and we never know what this team's doing, but the Angels, I was like, I see the vision. I don't know.
Ohtani
I don't know
played
what their
there.
appetite is for anything.
Yeah, I think I threw out a Diamondbacks at one point just because, remember,
Just 'cause
they
those
have
are
money.
Those are two kind of just potential chaos
That's
teams.
nothing. Yes, that's
vibes.
nothing. Murakami is going to be another massive contract that I feel like not a lot of people are talking about. Edwin Diaz, closer getting paid. That's just, it is what it is. I think that's just how people view that. Schwarber, for his age and being a DH, is going to be, it's a game changer. Coming off a top 3 MVP voting season, you just don't see that. And it's kind of everything front offices pretend to be not about.
The last, call it 10 years of free agency has punished guys who are going to probably be DH 95% of games.
Like JD Martinez just hitting free agency every year. Like, all right, who's going to give me 20? And then as he got a little older, who's going to give me 15? Schwarber, the first DH to really have free agency kind of by the balls. Balls. Who's that? The interesting one, Bichette, I don't know. He's a young middle infielder that hits like he does. He's going to get paid a lot of money. It's a name you know. The stats pass the eye test. Yes, there's a shortstop side to it. If you make it middle infielders, it just makes it a lot more easier to stomach. That boy can hit. He's young. I'm over it. Giolito, interesting to me, because in my head I was like, I don't know. Giolito balled out for a part of this season. He has the pitching pedigree. It's
just been health the last couple of years. Really.
Yeah, it was health, and then it felt like that kind of moved on. 26 starts, 145 innings pitched, a 3.41 ERA. Pitching half of his home games at Fenway. Strikeout numbers, I guess, aren't crazy. He's 31. That I don't know. I kind of had myself with a team really talking themselves into Giolito. But I think the equation is still there. This is a guy that, has had big seasons of Major League Baseball. Hey, maybe the number will surprise us. I guess, bless you. But I think the more fun conversations are these two in the middle. I guess one is fun. One, you have to be a little deep cut baseball-wise. And he actually did win an award on our award show. But it's JT Realmuto and Zach Littell. JT Realmuto, man, as we were daydreaming Yankees offseason, it was like, hey, bring in Realmuto for a year or two. Veteran catcher, righty, some leadership, take some pressure
He's
off.
getting old.
Take some pressure off Austin Wells. And then, it went from 1 year to he's definitely going to get 2. Then it went from 2 years to Realmuto going to get 3?
The only true starting catcher.
Turns 35 at the start of next season. Again, athletically, okay, you look at pop time or sprint speed, Realmuto's still there. So athletically, you're not super questioning that. I think you just be questioning offensive performance going forward. Being in the Phillies lineup, playing at the Phillies stadium, his offensive stats the last 3 years are league average. 257, 315, a 736 OPS for a OPS plus of 100. It's 3 WAR a season, and again, as catchers go, it's still hard to find. That I think this one, the more and more I've thought about it, where it's okay, so every team could kind of be in. I wonder if 3 years... I wonder if 3 years could turn into 4 years. And just it's one of those hey, we're adding a great guy to our organization. Maybe that last year is gnarly. Maybe the last 2 years are gnarly, but it's adding JT Realmuto to our mix. I don't know. I guess I haven't daydreamed too much. For me, he's felt like Philly's still going to happen. That with all the money we're talking about with the Phillies, Realmuto, where his money should still land, I think Philly would be comfortable with that. And he's just been there and he feels a part of the core that especially if Schwarber starts to go awry or something else, that Realmuto could still be a piece of that. Chris Rose was daydreaming about the Pirates and, hey, I'd help the young pitching staff and
They say they're going to do something.
every team could add JT Realmuto. Good spot to be in free agency. And then Zach Littell. Innings still talk, people. That's why he got my not Chad Innings Eater award. 186 last year, 156 the year before, to the tune of a 3.81. Again, like, if Zach Littell had the name, okay, this is a little unfair because his strikeout numbers aren't there, but Glasnow or I'm trying to think of a sexier pitching name. If his name was Lourdes Gurriel, I think there'd be more Zach Littell hype because he's a guy that has taken the pill the last 2 years. 3.63 ERA, a 3.81 across 2 leagues. The ERA did get worse when he went to Cincinnati last year. I guess the FIP isn't great, so that would be a little counter argument to me. But yeah, pitchers that throw 30 starts with an ERA in the threes get paid a nice contract. So I think it'll probably be interesting for Zach Littell. Is it going to be 4 years stretched out a little bit more? Is it going to be tighter money, higher paying money because his name doesn't have the flash or pizzazz? But yeah, Zach Littell's contract is going to drop, and he is definitely going to be involved in one of my favorite games at the end of the postseason of Would You Rather. That Zach Littell's money compared to some other named pitchers you might know is probably going to feel a little weird. No offense to Zach. Let's see, what else? I think there's one more in the survey. Will the Tigers trade Skubal this offseason or let him play it out? 10, let it play it out. 3, trade him. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to do with Scoobs, man. Because 1 year of a player is so tricky that teams value their guys so much that, I don't know, a player of his ability, and if you're the Tigers and let's say things are going well next year, like, let's ride this thing out. If things are going bad, what is the difference that you get?
He's one of those guys, assuming a normal Tarik Skubal year next year, that, like, the Tigers shouldn't feel like they're forced to do anything, right? Like, you only trade him if you get an offer you actually like.
Hey, I saw one vote for them signing Kyle Tucker. Sign Skubal. How about that?
Yeah.
Hey, that trade would be a big one. For me, it's tough to imagine. Just because if you're the Tigers, you need to, if you're the Tigers, you need to be getting a young, controllable starting pitcher back, like someone that's already pitched at the big league level. But those guys, okay, let's say it's a guy with 5 years of control left, or let's say 4, and they're pretty good. You're trading them for Tarik Skubal. Okay, you're projecting that guy to be a 2.5 to 3 WAR pitcher for 4 years. Okay, Skubal is going to be projected to be a 7 WAR pitcher for next season. That I just don't know. I don't normally like operating in just baseball WAR. I'm just trying to get in front offices' heads. That, yeah, if you're Detroit, you've got some momentum right now. Skubal feels like he changes the dynamic of your whole team between resting the bullpen and, when you're in a funk, having that guy go out there every 5th day to potentially just put up 8 shutout innings. I don't see it. I'll be excited if we do. Let's see. Top trade candidates over the winter not named Skubal. Just names you guys should know. Joe Ryan, Freddie Peralta, Ketel Marte, Mackenzie Gore, Stephen Kwan, Luis Robert Jr. Again, I think a Kwan trade is going to happen. I think Peralta is going to happen. I did, in BBD, this is a dream that, I don't know, Yankee fans kind of haven't had in their head. I asked Jared Carabas, what's a move you really don't want the Yankees to make? Ooh, it's my classic, do what the other team doesn't want you to do. He said he would be very mad if the Yankees traded for Joe Ryan. For me, I guess we haven't talked a ton of Joe Ryan, and the Yankees have young pitching. Joe Ryan doesn't make a ton of money yet. Joe Ryan was supposed to be traded to the Red Sox at the last deadline.
I assume that's a big part of why it's his answer.
I don't know. There hasn't been a ton of Joe Ryan.
Should put him
talk.
on the board.
I feel like Joe Ryan should be on a lot of teams' boards, especially with what the Twins have been doing.
Yeah, Yanks and Twins. I don't remember the last time they've gotten a trade done, but I feel like they always talk a little bit.
Ketel Marte, let's see. Best second baseman in the game. Small market teams will make the most noise this winter. Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, Kansas City, Miami Marlins, and the Tampa Bay Rays. This is just so icky. Someone noted the Rays have new ownership. I don't know. Let me see their new ownership act differently, and then I can believe in that. Reds, there were some Schwarber rumors originally because he's from the area that could be their chips in move as they've been looking for hitting. And if you're projecting a guy in a baseball stadium, Schwarber in Cincinnati is some fun video game stuff. And could you control the Central? No. Brewers, we respect. Cubs, we respect after last year.
There was
Pirates.
There's a different Athletic article I read this morning. That was some collection of people's just like notes and what they're picking up. Sure. And the Reds stuck out in that one. It's just like, hey, they have so many guys who play so many different positions that if they decide they're good to go add money, they can kind of get involved in whatever game they want to here. If they decide like this is the guy who's going to be the big salary. Just, I don't know, interested.
Yeah,
they seem worth. They've been loosely connected to, like you said, Schwarber. They've been one of the teams kind of around Pete, just in teams people talk about. Like,
yeah, and they've shown they're willing to make a move, and that's where the Pirates. Jolly correctly talked me out of. Pirates get no respect until they've earned it. Until they earn it twice. Sign two guys, and then we can talk. Like Kansas City, they've made moves in the past. Cincinnati's made moves in the past. Miami and Tampa, not really.
Yeah, not really.
Not really.
Hey, Tampa's been good in certain years.
I saw it. My own eyes.
It hurt us.
I think that ends the survey. So yeah, that was fun. Thank you, Jesse Rogers. Thanksgiving, one of the biggest foosball holidays of the year. So let's talk about it, and it's brought to our friends from DraftKings in the DraftKings Casino. Hello. Play all your favorite real money casino games, slots, blackjack, roulette, right from your phone, anytime, anywhere. 300 real money games. Sign up today using promo code JAMSPORTS so they know we sent you. DK Casino is safe, secure, and reliable. And right now, DK Casino players can play free for a chance to win up to $5K in casino credits every day. Don't miss your chance to claim free daily login rewards. Again, I don't know if DK wants this, but the casino, I don't think it's up in New York, but it's up in Connecticut. So if I ever take a train ride home, I get a couple blackjack hands in.
Involved.
Something if you told me that as a kid, I would have said that's impossible. How can I play blackjack on my phone? So I don't know. Evolution of man. Anyways, football. It's Thanksgiving. It's Thanksgiving time. It's so hard without you. Go look up that Will Ferrell, Chris Kattan Thanksgiving song when you get a chance. I think it's one of those ones SNL isn't super proud of anymore that you have to really dig on the internet a little bit, but
a few of those.
It could make you laugh. It could make you laugh. Maybe it could make you cry. Thursday, we have one of the best Thanksgiving slates in a while. Normally, you look at this Thanksgiving slate and you get kind of like that, ew. I mean, the Lions for 20 years didn't give us much. The Cowboys were pretty hit or miss for a lot of years there. Now the Ravens in Baltimore, they are the night game, which is the least exciting. But Joe Burrow's back, which a lot of people, I don't know. I'm gonna fade the fade on this a little bit because the 3-8 Cincinnati Bengals, I mean, their season is over, comma. There's always a chance. But their season, they'd have to win out. It'd have to be pretty dramatic. And their defense is horrendous, and they've lost 4 in a row. They've lost 8 out of 9. So the popular thing online was like, why even have Joe Burrow come back? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 6 games left. I think that's a conversation if there's 2 or 3 games left.
And he's like borderline.
Like, hey, I realize it can look bad with one injury, but you could say that it's football, man. Like, you could say that with every player on the team, that if Joe Burrow can come back with 6 weeks left, yeah, let's do that. So, I don't know. If you know how sports works, that game has a chance to maybe be the best game of the day just because, those Cincinnati's defense was horrendous, is horrendous. Baltimore's has been getting better. Kyle Hamilton getting in the box. That's the last game of the day, so why did I start with that? Because the other two have fun, very fun playoff implications. The Green Bay Packers and Detroit Lions, what's going on in your NFC Norris division. In Detroit, they are 3-point favorites. The Bears currently lead that division at 8-3. We'll get to them in a second. But yeah, Detroit and Green Bay. Green Bay is 7-3-1. If you remember their tie with Dallas. Detroit 7-4. So the whole top of the NFC North is going to get decided in the next few weeks. So these games very much matter for playoff seeding or making the playoffs. That for a 1 p.m. game, that's as good as it gets. On Thanksgiving, I can't remember 2 teams linking up with those kind of records and that kind of importance in a while. Meanwhile, the next game, your Dallas Cowboys, who have turned themselves into a fun football team this season, they're 5-5-1. Win a game, and you're 6-5-1. You're in the mix in this thing going forward. Lose 5-6-1 gets a lot tougher, and it is against the Kansas City Chiefs, who everyone's been wondering if they could write them off. They get a big win last week. 3.5-point favorites in Dallas. Their nice comeback against the Colts last week. A lot of close losses. Like the Chiefs only have 1-score losses this season. It's something that last year they were doing so well in that there is a natural regression in that people are wondering, like, is anything really different? Especially with Rashee Rice back. I think they were really struggling in man-to-man coverage, and last week they did extremely well in that, and Rice is a part of that. So I think we're going to see part 2 for the Chiefs coming, but the any given Sunday thing here, the Chiefs have put themselves in a very compromised position that a Cowboys team that when that offense is right, goodness, they're fun this year. With Pickens looks like an absolute monster. CeeDee Lamb coming off a bad game on Thanksgiving. Watch out for that guy. And Javante's been running the ball. Dak looks amazing. That this game is just full of excitement. That, yeah, Thursday, I know we're all buckling up for Thanksgiving and football normally, but one of the best slates I can remember seeing in recent history. And that NFC North that I mentioned to you, Friday, 3 p.m. kick. Why not? The Bears and the Eagles, both 8-3. This has been a fun conversation in the sports world with the Bears with one of the more excited 8-3s. Like, we're 8-3. The Eagles with, like, the saddest, mopiest 8-3. All of our team hates each other. The Eagles and how this core is going to be remembered years from now is going to be very funny. In Philadelphia, they are a touchdown favorite. Hey, I'm very interested to see the Eagles coming off giving up a 3-score lead to the Dallas Cowboys. And that was the first lead they gave up in 6 games. Like, sometimes you hear some of these Eagle stats and you're like, do we treat this team accurately? Caleb Williams and the Bears. The Bears' wins are not against very impressive quarterbacks or the most impressive teams. That this is their first test. It was the Bengals and Flacco. It was the Giants, and I think that was still Darty time. Vikings and McCarthy, Steelers and Mason Rudolph on their 4-game win streak. And before that, it's a Saints win, it's a Raiders win. So let's see what these Bears got. Let's see what Caleb's got. It'll be a big Friday, the only game on stage. Is this going to be an Eagles lock in and remind everyone who they are? Or are they about to let the wheels spin a little bit with a young, hungry team trying to show off? I don't know. I'm going to stay away from it. If I had to bet, I think I'd go Philly big because there's a chance that they do bounce back. But my God, that team can just be horrifying. They went up 21-0 last week and lost. Crazy. Good news, bad news for you. A lot of the juice is in those 2 days. Niners, Browns. No. Jacksonville, Titans. I'm pretty good on that. Houston and Colts is the game if you're a AFC South stan. That Houston has been playing a much better brand of football. Their defense is one of the most respected units in the league. They are on a 3-game win streak. And they can get back into the division if they can beat Indianapolis, as they have both their Colts games coming up. The Colts, who I bought in, probably too much, definitely too much. I thought we were seeing a Kurt Warner-esque greatest show on turf type situation. It hasn't felt that way the past couple weeks, although when you zoom out and you just see the numbers, it doesn't look awful. I mean, a loss at the Chiefs, a loss at the Steelers, both by 1 score, so maybe I don't have to be selling my Colts stock as much as I was. That is, I think, the game of the day. New Orleans, Miami, no. Falcons, Jets, no. Arizona, Tampa, I think no. Baker, no. Rams, Carolina, no. That's your 1 p.m. slate. So that's pretty empty. At 4 p.m., you have Seattle, Sam Darnold facing his former team in Minnesota. J.J. McCarthy is maybe the most hated quarterback on the interstate right now with how bad some of his numbers are. Pittsburgh, Buffalo. Buffalo 3.5 point favorites going in Pittsburgh. So maybe we get some action there, although both those teams have been scuffling a little bit. They haven't really.
One of them will be in a bad place after, I guess.
Yeah, both fan bases not stoked with their teams right now. Watch Sinners. Haley Steinfeld. Interesting scene. The other 4 p.m. Vegas chart. Vegas is entering such a bad place for me. No thanks. Chargers 8.5 point favorites. The night game, Broncos go Ponies against the Commanders. So it's that for the Sunday slates I've read, there's one game that you can circle and be like, that's nice. And it's Colts Texans. No offense. And then Monday Night Football, G-Men versus the Patriots at Foxborough. Buckle up. So, yeah, get your football in Thursday and Friday. It is a big college football weekend, Friday and Saturday. A lot of the rivalry games have now happened on Thanksgiving, which I like. That's a really fun move. I think Texas A&M is like the game, along with a lot of other good, the game. Michigan, Ohio State. But yeah, there's tons of those. It's like Virginia Tech. Give me all of them. USC, UCLA, all of them in a big sports weekend. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Have a happy Thanksgiving. Gobble, gobble. Appreciate all your guys' support. We will see you on Monday, December 1st. Whoa, what happened?
How about that?
Thanks, guys.